Boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Robert Sports Show. I'm your host, Robert. NCAA Week 8. Whew, where is the season gone? We still have some undefeated teams. We still have some great races and some great conferences. I know the SEC, they are going to be beating up on each other to get through the finals here. Alright, so last week I went 21-7 on the picks, 14-14 against the spread, 13-15 on the over-under. Year to date, 250-67 on win-loss. Against the spread, 149-158. Over/under 160-147 for a 60% overall picks. I don't know that number. I'm not going to check the voicemail. All right. So, first game we have the Temple Owls who are 5-1 versus 19th ranked SMU Mustangs who are 6-0. Mustangs are favored by 7.5. Got them winning, covering under on the 59. Next up, we have another American Conference battle here of the 2-4 Tulsa Golden Hurricanes versus the 21st ranked 5-1 Cincinnati Bearcats. Bearcats are undefeated at home this year. They're 3-0. I got them winning. I got Tulsa covering the 17 over on the 50.5. Another American Conference game. We have the South Florida Bulls 3-3 versus the 4-1 Navy Midshipmen. Navy's favored by 12.5. I got them winning. I got South Florida covering over on the 54.5. Next up, a battle of the American Conference West Division. Battle of 5-1 teams, the Tulane Green Wave and the Memphis Tigers. Memphis is favored by 4.5 at home. They're undefeated at home this year, 3-0. I got them winning, covering, and over on the 59.5. We have an ACC Atlantic matchup. We have the number 3 ranked in the country, Clemson Tigers, who are 6-0, versus the Louisville Cardinals, who are 4-2. The Tigers are favored by 24. I actually got them winning, covering that 24 and under on the 62.5. Another ACC matchup, we have the 3-3 Florida State Seminoles versus the 5-1 Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Deacons are favored by 2. I got them winning, covering over on the 68.5. Out of the Big Ten, we have the 4th ranked Ohio State Buckeyes, 6-0, versus the Northwestern Wildcats, who are 1-4. Ohio State is favored by 28. I got them winning. I got Northwestern covering the 28 and then over on the 48.5. Excuse me. Next up, out of the Big Ten, we have the Purdue Boilermakers 2-4 versus the 23rd ranked Iowa. The 23rd ranked Iowa Hawkeyes, who are 4-2. Hawkeyes favored by 18. I got them winning, covering, and over on the 49.5. The number 6th ranked Wisconsin Badgers 6-0 versus the 2-4 Illinois Fighting Illini. Badgers winning, covering the 31 and over on the 49.5. Another Big Ten matchup, the 20th ranked Minnesota Golden Gophers, who are also 6-0, versus the 1-5 Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Gophers favored by 28.5, winning, covering under on the 48.5. Another big matchup out of the Big Ten. Get it? Big matchup, Big Ten. 16th ranked Michigan Wolverines 5-1 versus the 7th ranked Penn State Nittany Lions, who are 6-0. I went back and forth on this one. Almost went for the upset. Almost bet Michigan. Said fuck it. Penn State Nittany Lions winning, cover the 8.5 over on the 45. Next up out of the Big 12. The 3-3 West Virginia Mountaineers versus the 5th ranked Oklahoma Sooners, who are 6-0, undefeated. Sooners, Boomer Sooner win. West Virginia covered the 33.5. That's a big number. 65.5 in the Big 12. Let's go with the over. Next up, we have the 18th ranked Baylor Bears 6-0 versus the 4-2 Oklahoma State Cowboys. Cowboys are favored by 3.5 at home against a 6-0 Baylor team. Giving Baylor the 3.5, they win. They cover under on the 63.5. Next up, out of the Big 12 as well, the Kansas State Jayhawks 2-4 versus the 15th ranked Texas Longhorns 4-2. Longhorns are favored by 21.5. Win, cover over on the 61.5. Conference USA, we have the Southern Mississippi Golden Eagles 4-2 versus the Louisiana Bulldogs who are 5-1. Louisiana favored by 1.5. Got them win covering and over on the 55.5. Next up, out of the Conference USA, we have the Old Dominion Monarchs 1-5 versus the UAB Blazers 5-1. Blazers are favored by 15.5. I got them winning, covering, and over on the 44.5. Mountain West, San Diego State Aztecs 5-1 versus the San Jose State Spartans 3-3. Aztecs are undefeated on the road this year at 3-0. They got another win here. Got the Aztecs win, cover the 7.5, over on the 47.5. Huge matchup in the Pac-12. 12th ranked Oregon Ducks 5-1 versus the 25th ranked Washington Huskies 5-2. The Ducks are favored by 3 on the road. Giving the 3 to Washington. I got the Huskies beating the Duck, winning, covering, and over on the 15.5. Next up, another huge matchup in the Pac-12. 17th ranked Arizona State Sun Devils 5-1 versus the 13th ranked Utah Utes, also 5-1. Utah's favored by 13.5 at home. Just like I did before, giving it 13.5 to Arizona. I got them winning. Utah covering and over on the 48.5. So next up we have out of the SEC, the 11th ranked Auburn Tigers 5-1 versus the Arkansas Razorbacks 2-4. Auburn favored by 18.5. Win, cover, under on the 55. Now we got the 9th ranked Florida Gators who are 6-1 versus the 3-3 South Carolina Gamecocks. The Gators are favored by 5.5. Do the Gamecocks knock off another SEC championship contender? I don't think so. Florida wins, covers the 5.5, over on the 48.5. As we all know, Georgia lost to South Carolina last week. What would it do for South Carolina to beat another top-tier SEC team? That would be fucking intriguing as hell. Don't think it's happening, though. All right, next up, we have the second-ranked LSU Tigers, who are 6-0 versus the Mississippi State Bulldogs, who are 3-3. LSU favored by 19.5. I got them win, covering, and under on the 61. Next up, another SEC matchup, the 22nd-ranked Missouri Tigers, who are 5-1, versus the Vanderbilt Commodores, who are 1-5. The Tigers are favored by 21.5. I got them winning. I got the Commodores covering the 21.5 and under on the 56.5. Next up out of the SEC as well, Kentucky Wildcats 3-3 versus the 10th ranked Georgia Bulldogs, who are 5-1. Bulldogs are favored by 25 at home. I got them winning, covering, and over on the 48. I think last week's loss, is going to kind of light a fire under them, and they're going to take it out on Kentucky. Next up, Tennessee Volunteers 2-4 versus number 1 ranked Alabama Crimson Tide 6-0. Who can stop Nick Saban? Who can stop the Alabama Crimson Tide? Not the Tennessee Volunteers. Bama is favored by 35. Win, cover, over on the 62. Next up, we got the Sun Belt. We have the University of Louisiana Monarch Warhawks at 3-3 versus the 24th ranked Appalachian State Mountaineers, who are 5-0. Mountaineers favored by 14.5. I got them winning, covering, and under on the 65. Now, as we look at the rankings right now, the SEC has got 4 teams in the top 11. Alabama, LSU, Florida, and Georgia. 2 teams are 6-0. Florida 6-1. Georgia and Auburn 5-1. Mizzou is 5-1. It's 22nd. Here's the thing, though. They're going to beat up on each other. Alabama's got LSU and Auburn. Auburn's 5-1. LSU is 6-0. LSU only has Alabama left. Florida has Georgia and Missouri left. Georgia has Florida, Missouri, and Auburn. Auburn has LSU, Georgia, and Alabama. Missouri has Georgia and Florida. They're all going to beat up on each other, so there is a chance you could have a 2-loss SEC champion. I don't know if a 2-loss SEC champion makes it to the finals. Do I think LSU or Auburn can beat Alabama? LSU can. It's a good shot. Auburn can. So who knows how this is going to shake out. I mean, look at the Big Ten. They have 4th, 6th, and 7th. Ohio State, Wisconsin, and Penn State, all 6-0. Ohio State has to play Wisconsin, Penn State, and Michigan. Wisconsin's got Ohio State, Iowa, Minnesota, who are 6-0. Penn State's got Minnesota, Ohio State. I think Notre Dame, who are sitting in 8th right now at 5-1. Clemson are sitting 3rd at 6-0. Oklahoma is sitting there in the Big 12 at 5th at 6-0. They actually may be the 3 favorites here because the Big Ten and the SEC are just going to beat up on each other. They're going to be. They may cost, if not their champion, the Final Four. They may cost, like last year we had, 2 years ago we had Georgia and Alabama, 2 out of the SEC. I don't see that happening this year. I think they're going to beat up on each other. But that's going to be Week 8 of the NCAA. As always, thanks for watching the Robert Sports Show. Make sure you check out CFL Week 19 and NFL Week number 7, along with some other wrestling stuff coming up here on Robert Sports Show. As always, thanks for watching Robert Sports Show. And don't just have a great day. Have a spiffy day. Robert Sports Show, your YouTube leader, sports town content.